Hello and welcome. I am Ben the Best 5 and I am coming at you with some Kerbal Space Program content yet again for the 22nd episode of my career playthrough, which is, we're getting towards the end. I've got a pretty cool plan I'm going to tell you guys about now. Once I've unlocked the entire tech tree, I'm going to do a maybe not single launch, some kind of a grand tour where I visit absolutely every single planet in the Kerbin system. So that'll be coming soon once, I've got a bit more free time. So just letting you guys know that there's that to look out for and be excited for. Anyway, about today's mission. It is in fact an SSTO craft, as you can see. And you remember how last mission we went all the way to Juna and collected a bucket load of science, but we weren't doing any missions and we lost quite a bit of money from it and it wasn't particularly profitable. However, this mission is to make up for that. We in fact have 4 separate scientific payloads in the cargo hold of this SSTO, which are going to be taken to orbit, which we will then deploy 4 separate missions for, and get all the funds we need to recover the funds that we spent unlocking the parts to be able to build SSTOs like this. As for my ascent here, I am getting quite a bit toasty. Okay, very toasty. This is kind of what you want to do for an ascent. However, I should have gone up a bit more and tried to flatten out and gain speed in a higher part of the atmosphere where there's less resistance. So I'm just pointing that out now. That's kind of what you want to do when you're ascending, is you want to be a little bit higher when you get lots of speed. However, you see how I've got kind of like a massive arc. That's definitely what you want to go for when you're flying an SSTO. You want to have, you basically want to shoot up out of the atmosphere, basically almost already circularized, and have lots and lots of remaining fuel. Also, for those who mentioned that there is going to be 4 missions, don't worry, they are not the focus of this video. And yes, I do include footage from each of them. However, it's only about a 30-second cinematic highlight of each mission deploying. So don't worry if you're not particularly interested in watching generic satellite deployments. I have, in fact, tried my best to make my content more engaging and interesting. So as a result, I have in fact cut out content which might be a little bit boring, for example, standard satellite deployments. Anyway, as you can see, I had to fire my engines and cut them off a few times. That's just simply because Kerbal Space Program assumed that I would just be using my nuclear engines because they're more efficient. However, I figured I might as well use my oxidized rock line there. Anyway, we're now in orbit, and as you can see, my 4 different scientific payloads, which will all be placed in various orbits around Kerbin. And here I am deploying the first one there. Just one thing I'd like to mention about the payloads. I didn't really put many batteries on them, which meant missions were a bit challenging to perform on them, meaning actually I had to do a lot of burns on the light side just to make sure the batteries on the probe core were charged up. Just a general word of advice to anyone who plays this game. If you are going to be doing missions, just add extra batteries. Even though you might not need it, it certainly makes it a lot easier, and yeah. I'm not gonna lie, this one was pretty difficult to get going, just simply because I had to perform the burn on the other side of Kerbin to the Sun, but yeah. And in case you can't see it, that's me in fact deploying one of the smaller sats out of the cargo bay. I thought this shot was pretty cool because you can kind of see the atmosphere and the mountains. And this is in fact what satellite looks like burning to put itself in a 45-degree geosynchronous orbit. Pretty cool. If you look really close on the screen for this one, you can actually see it fly past the SSTO that dropped it off on screen. any minute now. And there, see, up the top there. I thought that was pretty cool. It was still within physics range, even though it deployed and then drifted a few kilometers away. And this one, in fact, went all the way to the moon. In fact, all of my payloads stayed within Kerbin's sphere of influence. None of them went out to places like Juno or whatever. Anyway, so now we've got our payloads deployed. We can now come on down and take our SSTO down for Kerbin orbit. And yes, I just a note on SSTOs, putting them into orbit is great and is very efficient. However, as soon as you start to send your SSTO beyond low Kerbin orbit, you have to start expending fuel to bring it back from low Kerbin orbit, which actually starts to make the mission less and less efficient, which means the most efficient way to actually do a low Kerbin orbit mission with an SSTO, or a mission with an SSTO, is to use the SSTO like they use the space shuttles and send it to low Earth orbit or low Kerbin orbit. And if you have a particular payload that in fact needs to go further than that, then give it its own engine so that it doesn't have to, the entire payload launch vehicle does not have to perform a return, because that is horrifically very bad, not good, don't recommend, wastes a lot of fuel and fuel costs money, therefore it's not efficient, and in career mode you want to try and be as efficient as possible, so as a result you in fact do not want to have to perform inefficient things like that. Anyway, here is my craft descending its way through the atmosphere, and as you can see I lost control of the vehicle very quickly and it started flipping, and that's generally not a good thing. You want to not do that. And the reason why my craft did it, I'm pretty sure, I'm yet to confirm it, and I have a couple of people who I happen to know, friends even, who have, you know, actual piloting skills and actually fly planes in real life. So I have in fact asked them, and they'll said yeah, they'll have a look at it to see what went wrong. But my personal suspicion is that my center of mass crept forward, which meant that my center of aerodynamic lift was in fact still behind. Creeped to in front of it, which caused it to flip out. Anyway, you saw me doing some interesting maneuvers there. I burned my nuclear engines. That's just because they were my power generators, because I didn't put solar panels on because I'm a bit of an idiot. And I do manage to land this craft successfully, and that is because I still had some oxidizer left over, which meant that I was in fact able to perform a propulsive landing using an SSTO. Definitely not the kind of landing you'd want to normally go for an SSTO, because it's definitely not as good as landing it as a conventional plane, because that doesn't use fuel. However, because I lost control, I didn't have really any other options. So here you have it. And just to make it even more Kerbal, it flips backwards and lands the wrong way up. But, you know, a landing is a landing. It's only 14 kilometers away from the Kerbal Space Center, so I get to collect most of, like 97% of the value of it, so in the end it didn't cost me much. Anyway, here is a very wonderful view of my very wonderfully landed SSTO with some wonderful mountains by the KSC in the background. If you like this if you like this content, please leave a like, and please subscribe if you want to support my channel greatly, and if you want to see more content. If you want to interact with me or leave a comment, then please do leave a comment. I respond to comments and even use comments to influence my content, as seen in the panel design from one of my satellites. Anyway, other than that, I hope you have a great day and thank you for watching.